All right, guys, that's my name, Brian, and this is the gun. We're going to be doing a beautiful flat finish on this Lexus front bumper. This is one of my top budget guns. This is probably one of the only budget guns that I have kept in my paint locker, and I love to show you guys about it, especially newcomers. Some of your old-time folks bought this gun originally when I did a review on it. What I like about this gun is it really never changed in price. It's in around the $100 mark. And I'm running about a 1.3 on this one. The bumper's all ready. I need to make this thing look like it's never been touched. And we're going to show you guys that you could just use this Astro Pro Euro. And it's HE, high efficiency. So that means it's going to break up the paint really nice. And we'll show you what it looks like. So let's jump into the booth. We have primer all in this area. Now with these Lexus bumpers, you could burn them in because at the bottom, they don't have much going on, but working here, you need to have a warranty, and we got to do it all the way. So this is a new bumper with no damage on it. It's all scuffed up, but I'm going to tell you something. Even though it's scuffed up, I'm still going to put a little base on it, not clear on clear. And trust me, if you put a little base on it, it's going to help with that clear coat to grab onto it, because if not, it's going to be going down. So I'm not going to put anything up here. This will be clear on clear because I want this to obviously match the hood. But let me show you how I set up this gun real quick. And with this spray gun, guys, you can see my regulator. I can't even read it. But I don't really look at PSI anymore. And I think once you guys really get into this habit of spraying a lot, you won't dial in and you'll learn that PSI is not a big deal. But more the feel of the gun and the sound of the gun is going to help you dial it in. So we have our fan on the side here, and of course our fluid here. Now, a little bit cheaper with the actual knobs than what I'm used to for a gun, a little bit cheaper nowadays. But this is a little bit of an older gun. It hasn't been revised. So I feel like I've tried out the Aero Pro and the Harbor Freight. They have a little bit better working knobs as far as the smoothness and how they're built. This is still fine, don't get me wrong at all, but you can feel just a little bit of a distance. It's a little bit, you know, tighter. So once again, you see me pulling that trigger, and I backed it all the way out. And I'm gonna show you this on every video, guys. I'm gonna turn her in, and to the point where I can't stop. You can hear the gun kind of clicking inside. And so it stopped, right? So now I set it wide open, and that's how I operate the spray gun. I got my fan, I'll dial it in just a touch, just to help out, close up that fan pattern. I got this at wide open. Let me double check here, because it's been a while since I've used this spray gun. It's probably been a good, I would say year and a half. You guys haven't seen the spray gun, but I have kept it in the cabinet. I got my PPS 2.0. It's an S27, if you guys are wondering what it is. So let's go ahead and spray some base real quick, and we'll see how well it atomizes. Now, before I spray, guys, this isn't the world's brand newest tack cloth, but I like to use it on black just because if it was a white car, I would use a new tack cloth every time, because any of that black residue, it could transfer over, and let me tell you, it will. But on black, you're just not gonna see it. All right, so all I'm gonna do here is just give this a little bit of a color. Now this spray gun, it's got a totally different feel than most spray guns. The trigger is so light. It's kind of different. It's a different vibe, to be honest. So you might feel like you're not putting on a lot of paint because you don't really have to put a lot of energy into compressing this trigger. But let me tell you, it's coming out of here and it's atomizing at a very, very high rate. And it's breaking up that paint very well. Now, your paint is gonna go on wet, and at times it could look a little bit streaky. This doesn't look any streaky, but it will flatten out. So if it looks like that, that's what I'm talking about, that blotchiness right there, then just let it flash. That's the paint drying already. Now on this side, I'll just give it one light coat, and that's all I'm gonna give it. Right here, and I'm gonna stay away from the edge. So I'm not gonna go totally up, even though this is a good color match. And like I said, we're doing this once again because I don't know if there's a burn through. I didn't see any. Plus it just helps with that clear coat. Just stick a little bit better than clear on clear. We come over to the side over here. A spray gun that atomizes well is gonna put the paint on thinner and wetter droplets, so it's going to dry a little bit quicker. So if you have a spray gun that atomizes poorly, it's gonna put on a wetter coat, and that wetter coat is just gonna take forever to dry. That's not something you want. Let's give this about 5 minutes flash off time. So guys, the number one thing I would not recommend or make sure that you have done is that your spray gun is atomizing properly, because if not, if you're dumping too much paint, like too much base, it's not gonna dry. Sometimes us guys, even professionals, we have to go in there and we have to sand down the paint. And if you're gonna do that, you're gonna sand down your paint with like a 600 grit. Now paint, what am I talking about? Base coat, not clear coat, okay? Clear coat is gonna be the time when it's the shiny part and pretty much gotta wait 24 hours if you need to respray at that point. But for those of you guys in your garage or even professionals, let the base dry for 15 minutes. If you got some dirt in it, please don't try to pick it out. Let it dry, you're gonna be able to sand it down. What I like to always scuff it out with is one of these guys. These are the Sky, the K600, and these are half sheets. And I use a hand pad. If something's really bad, which it does happen, I'll use a block. Like if I see it's like a little bit of a wave, you can use a block. But you, once again, always want to make sure it is completely dry. And of course, in our paint locker, we have high-end guns and we have our cheaper guns. Now guys, these guns will do the same exact thing, but a professional day in and day out is going to use your higher end guns to get the same exact finish and the longevity out of the spray gun. But I always enjoy doing a cheaper spray gun review with you guys to show you it really makes no difference if you know what you're doing. Let's pick her back up and we're gonna give it one more coat. Now after just 5 minutes, you can see it's a little bit light in this area. We'll give it one more coat, see how she looks. Now, one thing you always want to do with your spray gun is you see the technique of moving, not doing a little spray here, a little spray here, a little spray here. I am bringing it from the bottom, bringing it to the top, bringing it back over and finishing up. I don't care if you do it here and then come over here and then here, whatever you want to do, but don't do spray, 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 spray. What I want you to do is spray all over at one time. That's gonna help keep it nice and wet, and you're not getting the dry spots or any of the metallic messed up. This is a black metallic. It is still very forgiving, but you wanna have the right pace, because if you're spraying something bigger like a door or a hood, you might notice it. Now, while that flashes off, I got another vehicle here that we're doing a repair on. And I wanna talk to you for a moment about orange peel, because there's a big misconception, right? There's no reason for any of your cars to be completely dead flat. They need to have that orange peel texture, okay? Or that OE texture, right? You can kind of catch it in the light here. So when we make videos, or YouTubers make videos about no orange peel, what we're really referring to is orange peel that you can feel. Because a lot of you guys that are new into this industry, you're getting orange peel that you can feel. All right, and that's what we're really referring to, the texture of the orange peel. Now granted, yeah, you can see in here, it's got that orange peel reflection, but this is the OEM reflection that you're looking for. So this is a smooth OEM texture, and that is what you would want out of any paint job, okay? So when someone says no orange peel in this paint job, we are showing you the settings that you're going to need in order to achieve a smooth finish, right? The procedures to ensure a smooth finish that looks perfectly smooth, right? If you see it under the light, it might have a little bit of the orange peel feel, but we will never be able to really get this car or any panel dead flat when you are basing and clearing. There's always gonna be a little bit of texture. So keep that in mind, guys. I don't want you guys to completely think that you need to get 100% smooth. If any of you were to get this in your garage and notice that there's a reflection of a little bit of orange peel just because it's from the factory, I think you would be fine. And this is exactly what you should be looking to get. So anyways, I think that we are ready for last coat in the booth. It's gonna be a quickie, and then we're ready to clear. And I'm gonna show you how to get a reflection just like this. Now I can still see just a little bit here, but I guarantee you this third coat is gonna cover that up, no problem. So with this, you might have said to yourself, well, it only needed a little bit here. How come you painted the whole entire thing? I always like to come from the bottom up, so when we come down, we don't have to worry about any dry spray. in this area. Well, you might say, well, in this area it's a little bit dry. Well, then you might say, well, you end it your blend here. That's true. I'd rather do that than end it in a big wide open place here. On a bumper cover, does it really matter? I'm gonna tell you guys, not that much. We're gonna start at our edge, we'll work our way up, we'll come across the top, we'll go towards the bottom, and then we'll work the other way. There's no perfect way to do it, just do what works for you. You gotta move with this gun because it comes out quick. Check that out on that side so far. For one coat, check it out. Look how nice that looks. Show them close. Really nice, right? Wow. $100.
Yeah. Like this, not like this, too. Alright. Now work our way down.
And if you want to spend $500 to $600 on a paint stand, you can do this. And now we can get the body. Or I'll put a link in the description for the knockoff version, half the price, and you can do the same thing. We're ready for our second coat. It's been about a good 8 minutes. We're gonna lay it on just a touch wetter to get that nice smooth OEM feel. Why did I ever stop using this spray gun? It's one of the best cheap spray guns you can buy. Well, here it is, guys. It's been drying for about 15 minutes, and we have that OEM texture we talked about. See how it appears very flat, but if we look at it in the light, you might see a little bit of a ripple, and that's just what we want. This matches the factory. This is a pretty clean bumper. Remember, we put about 3 coats over here, and it came out pretty dustless, to be honest. I can't find really any dirt. I got one speck over in this area that we'll nib that one out, but this is a type of finish you would come to expect out of a factory smooth finish. An orange peel finish that it's smooth, it's not rough, it's got the nice texture, and out of $100 spray gun. Let me tell you real quick about what my final thoughts are when it comes to cheap spray guns. So the one thing I don't want you guys to really get confused on is, Brian, you made a video on an Aero Pro, you made a video on the Harbor Freight, you made cheap spray gun videos before. They're all around under 150 and lower. Which one do I buy? And I can see how that can be confusing for you guys. Well, let me tell you something. You can buy any one of them and you can be great. All right, it does not matter what spray gun the cheaper spray guns. I find that this one is my #1 value spray gun, meaning that really for the bang for the buck, you're gonna get a beautiful finish. You're gonna get a pretty well designed gun, quality built for the price. Okay, you have to consider the price. And a gun that I've had for over 2 years, even longer, maybe 3 years, I would say at this point, and it still functions perfect. Now, if you don't clean your guns out after every use, if you don't break them down after every use, they will not work. So keep that in mind too. You need to give a little bit more TLC to those cheaper spray guns. But the #1 thing I don't want you guys to do if you are a do-it-yourselfer, don't buy the expensive spray guns. Don't buy the expensive, the best on the market unless you want it, right? Save your money. You might not be doing this all the time, but you will build up the desire eventually to get those more expensive spray guns, but don't start off with them, because I tell you all the time, a good painter with a bad spray gun can do a lot better than a bad painter with a good spray gun. So think about that, replay it. If it doesn't make sense to you, just remember, it's all the skill, not so much the tool, all right? So guys, this is Brian from Paint Society reminding you, don't overthink it, it's just paint. I'll see you guys on the next episode.